This is a hobo suit, darling. You can't be seen in this. I won't allow it.
Behind every memorable character is a meticulously chosen wardrobe. Whether the costume is extremely flashy or completely blends in, costume design provides an amazing opportunity to give us insight into a character and the world around them. Because just like in the real world, what you wear says a lot about you.
Mom always said there's an awful lot you can tell about a person by their shoes.
I want to take a look at costume design as a tool for filmmakers to tell their story. In many of cinema's most important movies, costume designers are the secret heroes, the people who immerse us within a world seamlessly and effectively without getting nearly the same recognition as actors or directors. So let's get sketching.
You push too hard, darling, but I accept.
The word costume invariably gets associated with Halloween, dress up, and pretending to be somebody else. And sometimes that's the function of clothing in a movie.
You just gonna let me pick out my own clothes?
But the majority of costume design operates on completely opposite principles. Their goal is to create authentic and realistic people on the screen, not actors playing dress up.
Your costume is pretty.
Oh, it's not a costume. I'm an elf.
Costume design is an added layer towards the immersive magic of film. Period clothing is meant to place you in the time period of the movie. Gone with the Wind is famous for its engaging costume design. While there is some 1930s flair in the hairstyle, the clothes still manage to immerse the audience in the Civil War era and accurately reflect Scarlett's fall from grace. The way she designs her own clothing also serves as a nice metaphor for the need to literally and figuratively reconstruct herself after the war. At its best, costume design is a vital layer of world building, and it works well in totally foreign places. When people talk about the original Star Wars, they usually praise the plot, characters, or special effects, but the costume design was also fantastic. It combines what we're used to seeing with the completely alien. Princess Leia's costume design is right in the middle of looking like she's from a foreign planet and looking like royalty as we understand it. In all the designs, the robots, generals, and soldiers, their wardrobe is alien enough to transport us to an exciting and different world, but familiar enough to keep us grounded in what we already understand. Immersive costuming is more difficult than you may think. Edith Head, the winner of 8 Oscars for costume design and the inspiration for Edna Mode, designed for many movies taking place in present day, so she just dressed her characters in the style of her time. Problem is, by the time the movie was shot, edited, and released, the style would change and the dresses became tacky. So she had to anticipate the future and make something look modern, but not tied down to a specific trend. And she was one of the first to address this issue that still shows up today, striking the balance between looking too dated or too generic. So a movie made in the 70s might have generic costuming, but a movie about the 70s embraces the old school style to bring about the nostalgia of a lost time. It's why 8 Mile looks like it could have taken place at any time, but rappers look ridiculous in their music videos that came out the same year.
Fashion is not the primary thing, the primary effort in motion pictures is to tell the story.
The plain hoodie works as a blank slate, emphasizing Eminem's quest to succeed purely on talent and nothing flashy, while also focusing attention on his face. Either way, costuming is supposed to complement the style of your film, whether you're going for realism or something more flashy. Along with immersion, many costume choices are to make characters stand out of their worlds. Willy Wonka's introduction takes place over 30 minutes into the movie, and the praise always goes to Gene Wilder's amazing performance, but it's also an example of great costume design. While all the other characters dress in clothing stylized from the late 1800s or as cowboys and other caricatures, Wonka's wardrobe is a hybrid of the Victorian jacket tail and buttoning of the 19th century, but the collar and color scheme all embody the style of the 1970s. So we get a character who visually stands out as both out of his world and ahead of his time. The costuming in the remake emphasizes the out of this world part, but it has no grip in reality, so it makes him seem more like a cartoon caricature than an out-of-touch visionary. Bonnie and Clyde takes place in the 1930s, but their style, wardrobe, and obsession with the media put them right into the 1960s. It helps make them appear anti-establishment, much like the young people in the real world during the making of this film in 1967. Michael Corleone wears his military uniform to stand out amongst the classy gangster suits, but as he gets sucked into the life, his clothing makes the appropriate transition. For gangsters, wardrobe indicates a transition into the mafia. This example of costume design actually does play into the initial concept of wearing a costume. The gangster gets new attire to try to fit into high society, but no matter what, they stand out as gangsters. In many movies, you can tell they aren't really high society, they're just playing dress up.
Look at my shoes, aren't they great?
My God, you look like a gangster.
Like other gangsters, Walter White plays dress up to help him feel like a gangster, but eventually he becomes the gangster he was only imitating before. Costumes give us insight into the character wearing it. Luke Skywalker's wardrobe has the visual aesthetic of martial arts gear, implying he's undergoing training. Obi-Wan Kenobi is dressed like a monk because he's doing the teaching. In The Force Awakens, the roles have reversed, and so have the costume choices. New teacher, new student. The shoes in the opening of Strangers on a Train tell us which character is more well-off and which character is more of an everyman. It may just be me, but the black black and white shoes look somewhat menacing. They really stand out in the frame by being so bright and flashy. Tyler Durden's costume design in Fight Club always contrasts the color palette of the setting and other characters, almost like he isn't supposed to be there in the first place. Along with actor personality and direction, color scheme and costume design is an impressive and effective way to make a character stand out or blend in. In 500 Days of Summer, the opening title sequence establishes the wardrobe color for the two characters, brown for Tom and blue for Summer. Throughout the movie, the coloring shifts around them. When Summer enters Tom's world, the setting is colored brown, while Summer's world is blue. The dance sequence has all the actors dressed in blue to represent Tom thinking about Summer. Costume coloring gives us mental cues as to how the story is progressing, and by the end of the movie, we realize their colors don't mix and they part ways. Movies become classics when all of the production elements come together to make something great, and that includes costuming. So when you look back at your favorite characters, think about what they're wearing. And of course, remember the most important rule of costume design.
No kicks!
Thanks for watching.
Here it is, a groove slightly transformed. Just a bit of a break from the norm. Just a little something to break the monotony of all that hard.